Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. Retain is our unified e-discovery and archiving suite. Retain doesn't just archive email, it archives mobile communication data from devices such as BlackBerry, Android, and iOS. It archives social media data. All of this data is archived and accessible from one central unified archive. As you look at the administrator's interface, it may seem like a lot to learn, but I assure you, while Retain is powerful, its features and functionality are very easy to use. There are two basic users for the application: end users and administrators. Usually, the end user simply wants to search their email account. An auditor or a member of the legal team may want to perform more advanced e-discovery queries. Administrators can search for and restore email messages for end users. Both types of users will use a web browser to access this view here, the default interface. There are other interfaces that provide access to the system, but I will explain more about their use later. Let's look at the main interface as accessed through web browser. Although there are a number of ways to view an end user's archive, the most common way is like this, in the browser view. You can see the messages in the archives, or you can simply browse or search. Let's start with the best way to browse, and then I'll explain how to search. The user interface was designed to look and feel like an end-user email client. As you can see here, there are end-user email folders on the left side, and there are end-user email messages listed here on the right side. From this view, I can do a number of things. I can browse, scroll through the folder to find that one email message I was looking for. I can click on the email and it displays in a new window, or I can click on the tab to view the message. I can open any of the attachments and can even save the attachments to my computer. The attachments are shown at the top of the name of the UI item. If I click on Properties, I can view the extended properties of the message, like noting whether the message was read or not, whether it was marked confidential, or see when the message was created. Let's scroll all the way to the bottom of the view and I'll show you a very interesting feature. This represents the audit trails. An audit trail is the record of what happened to the message. You can see when the message was viewed and when it was archived by Retain. You can see if the message was exported. Every email or message file stored in your Retain archive receives its own audit trail. Only users with set permission to access and view the audit log can see this information. Typical end users cannot by default. This permission is a setting that is done by the administrator. Access to the audit trail is controlled through the access control lists, which are managed by an administrator. By default, end users will only see this forward button. I'll explain the purpose of that button in a moment. End users won't see the delete button. For example, when I click the delete button, it deletes the messages from the archive. Do you see the prompt here? This is not something that is normally available to the end users, but because I have administrator rights, it displays as a caution before I delete the email message. Let's look at the Litigation Hold option. Normally, archives have file retention periods. A typical retention period is 7 years, which means that after 7 years of being in the archive, the email or message file is automatically deleted. There's usually no reason to keep it longer, except let's say you need to keep that email message for an extended period of time. To do that, you would place the file in Litigation Hold like this. It's as simple as that. Now that this is set, this email will not be automatically deleted from the archive based on a retention period. The file cannot be deleted until Litigation Hold is removed. It's easy to set individual emails or an entire account on Litigation Hold. Just like that. Oh, and if I mark a file as confidential, Retain's Web Access Viewer does this. It hides the email from view for any user who does not have permission to view confidential files. There's one exception to this rule. The end user who owns the email, for example, this end user Colin, you can't hide his emails from him because they belong in his account. Otherwise, if somebody else has access to the account, say, sometimes managers give account access to subordinates, you can hide confidential emails from them if you need to. Tagging. There's two different tags available, personal and global tags. Let's say there's a case going on, and for this one here, case 3455, I can search for emails, searching. When I find emails that are relevant to the case, I can tag them to case 3455 here. When I apply a global tag, like I've done for this one, all users who have access to the global tagging option also have access to those files. I can easily sort the email by tag, so the messages can easily be viewed at a later time. Users can collaborate and search for emails associated with specific things and keep track of the specific topics by using tags. Personal tags are only available to the user who created them. Delete. We spoke about what that does, remember? Click here. Select the files that will be deleted when you click Delete, based on administrator rights permission. Forward lets you forward selected messages. I select the messages when I click in the box next to the message in the list. Enter the email addresses of the recipients. There is no limit to the number of addresses you can enter, but for this example, I'm entering my own. I can forward these 4 messages that I've selected as an attachment to the recipient that I entered up here. When I select the export option, it exports the email or multiple messages as a PDF. The table of contents shows that there are 3 emails that were exported. The attachments are also available from the PDF. If your recipient has Adobe Acrobat Reader, they can view the files, or the files can be saved to the device or computer. Here's an example of what the exported PDF looks like. If need be, you can set encryption by selecting the Encrypt Attachment option. If you realize that you deleted a file from an end user's mail archive, click Restore to place the file back in their archive. Remember though, that if you are using administrator rights, once a file is deleted from the archive, it is deleted forever. Oh, and as mentioned at the beginning, this is the browsing interface. Let's talk about search capabilities. There are 2 ways to search and retain. There's the easy search, or some call it the Google search because it kind of looks like the Google search page. Simply enter a keyword or multiple keywords. Our search function is so intuitive that once you start typing, suggested search terms appear. Your instantaneous search results are listed in the search results. Our search engine doesn't wait for you. It automatically starts searching and the results are returned very quickly. The keyword, in this case message, is highlighted. It's not only highlighted in the metadata, but if you open up the file, the search term is highlighted in the body text. This is actually a text message archive from a BlackBerry. Look, the number of search result hits is also displayed. There are 49,000 files that have this keyword. And from the search options, the engine searched through different criteria, from subject line, recipient, the folder, even the mailbox. You can sort the columns by date, time, or alphabetically. You can also filter the search results very easily. Let's say I just want to see the search results that have the message in the subject. Click on Subject, and the results filter the whole list based on subject. The results show that 1,584 items that have the keyword message in the subject line. You can also filter other items based on the type of item you're looking for. Perhaps you're looking for just SMS messages. Select Subject and SMS. I can always remove this subject filter. I can even sort by mailbox. This one's really interesting. Address. These are the most common addresses that contain the keyword. The end user needs to have rights to see email or messages from these accounts to be able to access them. For this demonstration, I have administrator rights, which gives me access to different accounts. But by default, end users only have access to their own account. Let's try an advanced search. This option allows an end user to narrow their search based on certain criteria. Open up Query Builder. As you can see, there are a number of search criteria options. Field contains, start with, or ends with. You can even enter a keyword or do Boolean searching with and/or. You can also create a nested query where 2 keywords are searched for at the same time. For instance, the subject contains apple or orange, and the sender field contains stevec@guava.com. There is no limit to how many search criteria keywords you can enter in your nested query. In fact, you can enter a regular expression in the search field, say for example, a credit card number. You can create a regular expression that searches for that number of digits. If it's a MasterCard, for example, you can search for, I believe they all start with a 5191 number. So you could pick regular expressions that really narrow the results down. The advanced search is really powerful, and the query and nested query options let you search for exactly what you want. As a reminder, the basic search or the easy search gives you everything based on a keyword, and then the advanced search narrows the results down from there. I had mentioned in the beginning that there were 2 other interfaces for use with the system. There's the Publisher tool that allows users, based on rights, to export large amounts of archived file data from the archive in a portable format. The web-based interface is great for finding items, going through content, reading specific email messages, or doing discovery because it's very fast and easy to use. When it's time to export large amounts of data from the archive, that's when the Publisher comes in. It has access to the queries that you've saved from the Web Access Viewer. From the viewer, click on Save Query to save the query that I created. The Publisher can access the saved query, or it can be used to create queries in much the same way the viewer does. Instead of displaying the results in a web browser, it exports the files to your computer. The query results data file also includes a program, Retain Archive Viewer, that allows you to view the exported data. All the emails that I exported are here, and this file is fully searchable as well. Click on the search icon in the publisher to access the search function and complete a query to search within the exported data. You can open up the emails that were exported. You also complete a redaction process. This email has a few lines that have been redacted or removed from view. Your administrator can provide certain users with redaction rights. Those rights are controlled by a specific password that's set before the file has been exported. If I want to redact in the exported file, I have to enable that option by entering the password. Then I can select text and redact that text from the file, as easy as that. From here, also I can export the PDF or PST format as well. Another interface is our plugin for Outlook clients. For users of Exchange or Office 365, the Ldap Plugin allows those users easy access to their archive. Once installed, it creates a section down below called a Retain download. All the folders that appear in Retain contain email that comes from my archive, such as these emails. It's important to note that these emails are cached on the user's workstation. It's done this way so that you can quickly bring up the emails as you are moving through Outlook, and of course reply or forwarding these emails. By that token, it was not designed to sync every single email from the user's archives. It has its own settings which can be pushed out to users who typically only want to download 90 days of messages older than a specific day. You can even limit the results to a certain amount of messages. Basically, what this means is you want to only have the most recently archived items available in Outlook. If the item is much older than that, it's not really a priority to have it available in Outlook because there's a very small chance the user will actually need to access that email message. If they need to access older emails, they can use the search button in Outlook. It gives the access to the easy search or the advanced search features of Retain. When they hit search, Retain queries the system and provides the results in this routine search results folder. From here, the user can go through the results instead of Outlook. No need to go to the web in this case, but of course the web interface is always available. As a review, we were able to see the how to set up and administer the Retain Unified Archive. Plus, we demonstrated user interface, the search and e-discovery tools, the publisher, and the Outlook plugin. Retain provides you with a complete and compliant archive of all your electronic communication. Thank you for your time today. If you would like to learn more about Retain Unified Archiving, download a free trial, or request a quote,